All right, so it's a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is the cartel has been permitted to, let's say, throw bullets, all right, at the Border Patrol agents. This is a suggestion via Discord. Let's go ahead and jump into this immediately, see where this takes us. What? Doesn't surprise me. I mean, what's in it for them? I think the human moving aspect of things is probably what they're not too happy about, right? The fact that America is finally doing something after basically doing nothing to kind of put a stop to the migrant crisis, guys, and now they're attempting to, so they're losing money. It's affecting their bottom line, basically. And I'm guessing that's most likely the reasons why, guys. But let's go and check it out. Let's see where this takes us, guys.
We are also following new exclusive reporting from the southern border detailing the dangers Border Patrol is facing every single day. News Nation has now learned that Border Patrol is on alert after Mexican cartels have given permission to its members to shoot at U.S. agents at the border. Now, this marks a...
did they need permission? I figured that they were bloodthirsty and ruthless anyway. I figured they were doing that before anyway, guys.
Significant escalation for the ongoing battle with those cartels and their smuggling operations there. Correspondent Allie Bradley is live in Eagle Pass, Texas, with some exclusive details. Allie.
Yeah, hey, Kelly. So it's long been kind of this understanding of sorts that the Mexican cartel stays over in Mexico. They don't fire on or attack U.S. law enforcement because it's bad for business. They will be shut down, and they know it. But there has been...
True, because I mean, I think if it was like large scale, something that was happening, the American government would actually seriously do something about the plague, guys. Also, her hair is luscious.
Basically a war within the Sinaloa cartel, and that prompted this alert that we actually obtained that's circulating amongst Border Patrol that shows that cartel operatives have actually been given permission to shoot at U.S. Border Patrol agents because of their response to this fighting within the Sinaloa cartel. Okay. Border Patrol's response is prompting the deployment of Mexican law enforcement, which the cartel is trying to avoid here. So this alert was kicked out by the El Paso Sector Intelligence and Operations Center. It warns agents and officers of the threat on the south side of the border. The alert reminds agents to remain cognizant of their surroundings and to approach any cartel operatives with extreme caution. Now, this just as 2 days ago, contractors working on a ranch in the Eagle Pass area of the Del Rio sector, which is where we are, reported taking on fire from the Mexican side. According to an...
I mean, listen, I think if that's happening, okay, I'm not saying it's not happening, but if this is happening, that's almost like an act of war, okay? And it's not just a war, let's say, on the cartels specifically. It's a war to Mexico, right? That's what it sounds like, at least. Like, listen, if you can't control the organizations that are running rampant through your country to a level where now they're shooting at people from another country through the border, that sounds like an act of war, guys. So I definitely hope that that we are going to be doing something about this. It's obviously also out of pure desperation, guys. But let's continue.
Internal memo: the workers saw several individuals in Mexico where the shots came from, but could not determine how many people were out there. There were no reported injuries in that incident. Now, we talked with Victor Avila, who is a former special agent within Homeland Security investigation, and he says law enforcement should absolutely be concerned about this recent escalation.
Right. They should.
You see, the cartels all want access. The Gulf cartel, CDN, everyone. The number one reason they fight for these plazas is because these plazas are the corridors to enter the United States, whether California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. And that's the major fight, because the Sinaloa cartel has controlled that whole area from California, Sonora, now even far west Texas and El Paso. And so that's exactly what you're seeing right now. And that's not just fighting for the plazas, but fighting for the leadership of both of these, which happens to be one cartel now basically split into two.
Those corridors, those pathways are very lucrative, Kelly. It's a $13 billion a year business that they're fighting to maintain by pushing people and drugs through those holes. Now, I have reached out to both Customs and Border Protection and Governor Abbott because those contract workers were likely building wall and fencing there on behalf of the state of Texas. I have not heard back from either of those entities, Kelly.
Wow, this is just an incredible update. Allie, you know, we know this infighting between the Sinaloa cartel has been going on since the capture of El Mayo and one of El Chapo's sons as well. Does that threat appear to be escalating now?
Yeah, it does seem to be escalating, right? Because, again, cartel has always kind of maintained that they're staying on the south side of things. But we were just reporting on the cartel CDN using drone jammers to actually go in and intercept U.S. drones, surveillance technology and capabilities, something that is a huge devastation and detriment to the U.S. side. Now, alongside of that, they also found several IEDs and RPGs. Those are rocket launchers based.
Now, are we going to still attempt to believe that this is just not an act of war? All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I get it that the government of Mexico, contacted, right, to at least inform about the explosion. Listen, I see that. I'm reading it with you, right? But you're still allowing it, okay? Like, imagine if there was some crazy group, basically, in the United States of America that was shooting through the borders, the northern border or the southern border. Imagine that for a second. A crazy group. Right, allegedly not sanctioned by the government, and this is kind of where I'm saying here. This sounds like a legitimate declaration of war. It feels like that. But you know what? Let's, who am I, right? Random guy on the internet.
Basically on the south side of the border, just across from Arizona, that along with a slew of ammunition. So we're finding a lot of kind of military grade weaponry just on the other side of the border, which of course is causing concern for law enforcement down there. Now, we did ask former President Donald Trump when we had time to talk with him exclusively about this escalation and about the concern. He says troops need to go in. Take a listen to that exchange.
Define troops.
We need a military operation. What's happening, what you're just telling me, we need a military operation. Okay. These people have become military. They're very rich. They have a lot of money. They're among the richest people probably in the world. They're very rich and they're very evil.
Okay, hold on. Got to be really careful with that statement, right? So in terms of like troops, what do you mean by troops? Okay, if we're referring to the National Guard and we're not going to handicap them, then that sounds like a great idea. But the U.S. military? That's tricky. That's very tricky. I mean, it sounds like Congress is going to have to do something about it, but will they do something about it? No. I highly doubt that Congress is going to do a single thing about this. We would have to legitimately declare war against our neighbor, right? We will legitimately have to declare war against a nation state that makes a lot of our goods, guys. Okay? Just keep that in mind, right? That kerfuffle will be that would be a wild one to encounter. Okay, it would be crazy. But National Guard and allow them to actually do something and not just stand there with their firearms. Okay, all right. See, that makes sense.
Now, this all comes as a former a former Mexican security operative was just busted for basically bribery, spending 38 years in jail. So we've got issues with corruption spilling over the border. And again, Kelly, we were basically told by CBP, hey, it's never going to bleed over to the U.S. side of things because it's bad for business. But now we're seeing alerts saying, watch your back because it might spill over. So certainly concerning for law enforcement down here, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Guys, what do we do with this, right? I'm going to basically end this video here by telling you I truthfully believe that this is, at the bare minimum, a declaration of war. Because you need to control those entities that are running rampant through your country. Like, once they start firing across the border, they're basically signing the documentation for war. Like, do you know who we are? Like, do you know how much money we spend on military stuff? Do you know? Right? Like, it's crazy, actually. Right? It's absolutely crazy how much that happens. I don't want anything like that to be a thing. I don't think the United States of America needs to be added to another, kerfuffle, let's say, right? But because China would most likely back Mexico, guys, keep that in mind. So like, listen, there are a lot of tricky things that are going on here, guys, but it does feel like that's what it is. But I could be wrong here. Again, this is just my opinion. But it sounds like you're trying to go to war with us, bro. And that I'm not sure how that ends, well for Mexico. But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.